The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM. Ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and you're listening to Sisters Speak on Inspire 105.1 FM, and you're here with me, Faiza.
Me, Amina.
Me, Sadia.
Me, Mariam.
Someone's eager today. Welcome to Sisters Speak, everyone. I haven't been here for a long time, but I know everyone was here last week and you guys discussed...
we talked about Sudan and also culture.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked about culture.
There we go.
And I took Faiza's place and now she's back in her seat.
So, to put you all back in your places, I'm joking. Right, anyways, Mariam, what is our show about?
So our show is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events and issues, and even form discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics and social media. We want to know that all opinions and views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing views.
Thank you for that, and welcome everyone who's listening. And I really hope that you do enjoy today's discussion. We will be discussing Muslim, with quotation marks, social media. So to get in contact or to share your opinion and your views and opinions, how do they do that, Amina?
You can text or WhatsApp in on 07779 481822. You can call on 01582 481822, and we're also on Facebook Live.
Say hi,
just
guys.
go on to the Inspire FM Facebook and then you'll see us there. You can comment down below, get involved.
Let us know your thoughts and views and opinions, guys. So before we get into everything, we do this little segment on our show called The Thought for the Week, and it's just something we want to share, something we've learned, if we want to rant, because I know some girls on here really like to express their opinion.
Not to name any, about the weather.
Wow. Okay.
It's
but
really hot,
yeah,
guys.
so
Let's go with Amina.
what's your thought for the week?
She's like, she posted a very nice post today on Sister Speak.
Oh yeah, she indirected all of us saying how we always think of the thought of the weeks and the last moment, and here she is. Does she have one?
I said
Me too. Don't worry, I'm still thinking of mine.
Do you know what? That can be my thought of the week.
Okay, you first. Go on then.
That the thing I put on our story is
Which is what?
from my favourite show. Am I allowed to mention it?
Not
This is
everyone has social
completely,
media.
Irrelevant. I don't really have one yet.
All I heard was and
I'm so sorry. You know what? I put on the story, it said something like, sometimes I just start off a sentence and I don't know where it's going, and then I just carry on and hope for the best. And I said that is that is everyone's
she just really likes
thought of the
improvisation.
week. Yeah, so this is me improvising on
Right, well,
me
it's a failed
digging at
attempt,
myself.
so moving on to
Yeah.
Mariam.
Thanks, guys.
I guess what we can say. I guess we can say her thought of the week is fake it till you make it.
Oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
that's a good one.
Oh, but
Okay,
I failed
fine.
this time.
Yes,
She
you
did
did.
make
You
it.
failed.
I guess if you and I guess then that will prompt my thought of the week. I guess you have to keep trying until you get there.
Which is
I just said it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So no, I'm saying because
She's worded it differently.
she just said that she was unsuccessful this time. So I'm
I
saying
feel like everyone's is a failed attempt this week. I'm disappointed.
if you give me the opportunity.
Go on then.
Yeah, I'm saying it. So actually, someone told me today. We were talking about in work, and they were saying that no matter how many attempts you do at something, and you don't get it the first time, second time, you should keep going because you don't know which door will open for you. And I think that is really something that I should take, especially going into my final year, because it's a very intense year for graduates, for undergraduates.
Oh yeah.
And it's a very like compact. So from October till May, you practically finish your education, and all of that, is almost gambling on that those 6 months. So for me, it's just, I know it's cliche. We always say cliches, but I think as you grow older, those cliches become actual reality. Like just don't give up, because persistence, there's a saying that strategy compensates for talent, but talent doesn't compensate for strategy. And I really believe in that, because if you have a plan and you persist, you'll eventually get to your destination. But if you rely on your talent and you rely on whim, it's not going to get you as far. So that's my thought of the week.
Inspiring, motivating.
Can I bounce off of that?
Okay, fine. Finally. Yay! She has a thought of the week, guys.
I like what Mariam said about not giving up, because even in real life, when I feel like new things can happen every day. Sometimes it seems like an event in your life or something that happened. You think it's going to hold you back, and you think that there's nothing that can happen to make this situation improve or to make it change. But literally, the next day something can come up, and you'd think, "Oh my God, how it's solved, like it's improved."
Mm-hmm.
So I think we put too much pressure on ourselves, and we may have this mentality where we're like, this is it, I've never experienced something like this before and it's never going to be the same. But the fact that you're experiencing something you've never been through before is a good thing, because it's character building, and it just makes you stronger. And next time we go through something that's really difficult, we should just tell ourselves, okay, I'm not gonna, nothing major has happened to me. Like, I'm still alive. I still have people around me, and situations always improve. Like, you're always gonna go through bad times, but you will always have good times as well. I think,
and you will get through the bad times as well.
Definitely.
Like, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. I think once we realise that we will always have bad times, but we will have we'll have ease after it, with hardship comes ease, then life will be a little bit more easy. Obviously, it's not going to be easy all along, but, it'll be easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thought of the week.
She got
Part
there
two,
in the end.
part two.
We got there.
She got there in the end. Sadia?
Yeah, so my thought of the week, which I thought about when Amina was doing up her little rant, was that I've realised that I'm not motivated anymore. Like, it's just like, once you reach a certain age, I just feel like your motivation levels just drop so much compared to maybe when you were 18 or 17. Because I remember I was like in sixth form, 17. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do the best I could possibly do. And now that I'm in this reality where I'm 21, almost 22, I'm like, all those things that I wanted to do, I don't have the energy for it now, and that I wish I did. I just feel like at this point I really need inspiration, because I don't want to kind of just delve into mediocrity already. I kind of want to keep like shooting for the stars a little bit, but then it's like at this point, the energy levels and the inspiration, it's just like, I think reality hits you after a certain age, once you have to start paying bills and thinking about other people and realising all the restrictions on you, and that's quite sad. Because a few years ago, I was you'd say naive, but I think it's more hopeful. Like, I know, like, my cousins were like, you're so naive if you think you're going to do this and that, but I think when you are naive, you try to do more, and then at least you get a lot done compared to doing nothing at all. So I guess I wish I had that naivety back.
Don't let that hold you back.
I think just try
Don't let
something
it hold
new.
you back.
Yeah.
You're applying for jobs is the most boring thing ever. I remember when I was 17 or 18 and I'd just be looking for these jobs that I'd be applying for in the future, and now I'm like, I don't even want to do this.
But you
anymore.
can, it's like a small step. Like, you can definitely like push through and get through it. We all have our down phases where it's like you just give up with
Where
everything.
everything
You
is
can apply
boring.
for one job and you'll give up. You can apply for 10 and you'll give up. But there will be one of those people who will respond to you. And on top of that, motivation wise as well, I feel like because summer's coming, I feel like now it's like uni's over, school's over, end of a chapter, kind of like a...
I guess adult life looked more fun from a distance.
Yeah.
And then you get there and
Once
you're
you
like, 9 to 5s, why did I sign up for this?
Wow, I think the
And
biggest
that's
lie-
gonna
It's
prompt
pretty dreary.
Faisal.
Maybe we should. Please tell me you've got a more upbeat, happy
Yes.
thought of the week. Thank God, gone.
But, oh no, I thought you meant like I'm more better now, because I was like going through that.
yeah, you were. Hopefully, I'll be at your stage in a few years.
Inshallah. In a few years.
In a few months, let's hope.
Be more.
But I think-
You'll get through it.
I think it's just that we don't do new things we lose motivation because we're not doing new things, we're not challenging ourselves, and we don't have time to. We don't make time to like kind of stimulate ourselves or excite ourselves.
Yeah, I think like once you've done so many things while you're young, you're like, I've done it all.
You haven't.
I know I haven't.
No,
but
as in like there is always something new to try. Push
I agree
yourself.
with you. Do you know how to knit?
Everyone's giving me a pep talk in the studio right now. This isn't even a thought of the week. This is let's motivate Sadia.
Learn to knit. That's your new thing.
I'm not going to learn to knit. I don't have the patience. I can't even read a book anymore.
Oh my God! After 3 years of your
The
degree.
patience, man.
Yeah, but that's what people say about
Start small and then go big. Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. I've really got one more week of my last ever summer holiday ever, and then I go into an internship, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's
that
it
will
for
be
life.
your go big or go home. that
What, this
internship.
week? Oh, the internship.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It will just be something you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
I think my thought of the week is one thing and one thing only, and that is because of it's very hot and humid.
Oh,
I
yeah,
advise
this-
everyone to please shower, please.
I thought she was going to say
Deodorant.
dehydrated like Mariam
Use
did once.
something, just please.
Oh my God.
Guys, that's my thought for this week, okay?
She's been in London Underground too much this
Like,
week.
honestly, it's, the humidity is a lot, okay? Some people need to just shower and deodorant. And that's all I'm going to say for that. So let's move on to our hot topics this week before we get on to our main topic of social media. So before we get into that, Sadia, our hot topics this week are...
So our hot topic this week is we're going to talk about decolonizing the curriculum. So this hot topic came to us because we had like a vote of like 3 things, but we've mentioned it before, and I guess I wanted to expand on it and do a
Okay.
whole session on it, or session show. But let's go back to hot topics and decolonizing the curriculum.
Yeah.
So when you think of decolonizing the curriculum, I think we should focus on the word decolonizing instead of diversifying. Do you guys kind of see a difference between those 2 words, and what do you think that importance is? Can I just throw that out there? Does anyone have any ideas?
Because diversifying is, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, what my immediate reaction to diversing is just including people of color, or even diversifying, you know, it can be expanded to gender, you know, so diversifying it in that sense. But decolonizing is giving the voice to, so there's two spheres. There's the colonized and then the colonizers. So when we have colonized books, and we have like the literary canon is written by the colonized, right? I mean the colonizers. Sorry, let me just separate this because I started this last
I'm a
year.
bit lost.
So there's two.
Oh, I love it. Uni levels.
Yeah, so there's the colonizers and then there's the colonized. So say for example, the Brits went to India and they colonized the area, and then there's literary texts that came out of that. Usually the colonizers create texts and they represent that view, whereas decolonizing is getting the colonized people to voice their opinion. So I can tell you about my experience of being colonized, about India, but you can't tell me how I experienced that.
Yeah,
So that's what decolonizing means. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I agree
throw in
with
there?
everything she just said.
I feel like I really like what Mariam said. Like that was a really
was a
good
really good
explanation.
answer. I don't know
She
how
put
I'm
it
gonna add
like
into
in the
that.
best way possible.
Yeah, but I feel like to add on to what she said is that saying that we need to decolonize the curriculum is actually pointing at where the issue is. Like if we say we need to diversify it, it's like, okay, that's what we need to do, but it's not actually saying why, if that makes sense. We're just saying, oh, we need to bring in all these other different things.
Yeah.
But the actual issue is because of like colonization. That's why I think we're just pointing at something. It's more specific. We're not just kicking it under the rug.
It's kind of like undoing the damage instead of just pretending like let's just throw in some
Is it not a tick
African American
box?
history.
Or just be like too polite about it. We need to be straight up and say this is where the issue is. Otherwise, it's never going to be fixed.
Yeah, exactly. It's more to do with going back to the origins of people, well, non-Europeans, and saying how we need to learn about these people's histories before the whole situation of colonization, realize that there was culture and history here before European colonization, because I feel like a lot of, especially high school history, primary school history, really brushes off of the fact that these people existed far before World War II, colonization, all of that. And yeah, it's kind of dehumanizing to do that. And I think a lot of people of colour living in the West have felt that. Have you guys felt that?
I was actually thinking about that this morning, just randomly. Like, I was thinking about how, like, in history we'd learn about only in like the 1800s, about how backwards the country was, and I was thinking, if you think about it in terms of history, that's not too long ago. And then I was thinking about how at school we never learned about,
Absolutely.
Muslim civilization,
Yeah.
and how long before the 1800s we never had those problems, and that, we had, like, we don't learn about how other civilizations became more more civilized, I guess, because we're just so focused on
What is being taught to us.
yeah, and
by them as well.
makes us think as children, because if you're not being taught anything else, it makes you think that where the like British civilization is the only one that was almost decent, because you're
Yeah.
not being shown anything else, and then when you are, they're showing these colonized countries and saying how backwards they were when they really weren't. They
Absolutely.
actually
The
weren't.
level of understanding just wasn't there when they taught it to us.
Exactly.
It's actually very insulting because for those who don't know, I actually study politics and history. So this year and last year, when I was studying Indian history, and I'm Bengali, so that a part of that was Bengali history, I had no idea about so many details about Bengalis, about Indians, before I studied this at a degree level. So before, the most I ever heard about the Indian subcontinent was the British came, they put in the railways, and they civilized the people, and they helped them, and then Gandhi came and said no. But literally,
I totally
it
get
started
your
with the railways
frustration.
and
Oh
with
my God.
Gandhi. And that's all you learn about your own people in that situation. But then once I learn about more about Bengali achievements, about powerful people who made so many changes and worked against European supremacy and all the damage that was done, I just thought, wow, I can't believe years and years of high school history convinced me that my people might have been lower than Europeans because we weren't on the same level with them on what basis?
Yeah,
on a
that-
technological basis. Because have you ever heard of the Indus Valley region? Like, we've been around for a really, really long time doing a lot of stuff, and it was just the stuff that you learn. It just really boils your blood, and it's like, I wish everyone knew about all the achievements of my people, as opposed to hiding it and erasing it.
Yeah, I think last year I did a module on colonization, and the whole concept was that the British, they went to lands, and if they saw free land, then they just claim it.
The civilizing mission.
They use the banner of, I want to civilize these people to be just like them.
Yeah, it was a moral supremacy basis, wasn't it?
Like correcting them.
yeah.
Like, how can you correct a person? That is their culture. That is their
Especially if
identity.
they've been living in peace for a lifetime, not for a lifetime, like for hundreds of years, right? Why do you think there's a problem if they've why would you come and fix something that's not broken at all? Like, you're coming and just breaking like a whole
It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, it was completely unnecessary. And what you mentioned before about how in high school you felt like it makes you feel a disconnect to your own culture and your own history, because it's really sad. I feel like a lot of us go through that, where we feel like, because we're taught so much about British history and how they went into India and did this and that,
The
it makes
railways.
you feel yourself as a Pakistani, as a Bengali, like how I feel like we all went through this where we thought, oh, is that what my people are like?
Yeah.
And it's actually really sad.
It's like humiliating.
Yeah, because if we speak to our grandparents, they'd tell us a completely different story. And it's just, it is really humiliating to learn that kind of stuff at school about your own people.
And I think that's where decolonizing the curriculum comes from, because our grandmas, they're telling the narrative, whereas the colonizers are like, they're perpetrate, like they're promoting a story that isn't true. So that's why we're trying to reclaim the voice of the oppressed. That is what decolonizing the
And have you like
curriculum is.
realized the kind of pictures that you would see of like people who were colonized of the days, how much more dramatized the poverty is? Would they ever show the pictures of the people who were well off, like the amazing buildings,
or even the barbaric acts they did, and even the wording, a lot of literary text, they describe the people that they colonized as savages.
it's
the text that they use.
It's racist, it's biased,
it's the phrasing that they use. So of course you're going to attribute, like, you're going to have an
you're going to
unconscious
think a certain way because of what's being taught
and
to
it's
you.
sad because we as people of color, people who have from these regions will think the same thing because we don't know any different unless you've been told by your own family.
Yeah.
It's almost erasing a whole
That's what they're trying to do.
history.
It does
They're
anger
just
you because
erasing
that's
it.
your own culture as well. This is what's being taught. This is what's going to be taught.
I feel like a lot of British Asians had like grew up, especially in our generation, quite distant from our culture because we felt like it's dirty. It's like I'm ashamed of it. I'd rather be a bit of a coconut and not accept all of it because it's lower. Not even if you accept that as your view, but in the back of your mind, in your subconscious, it was more shameful to be proud of your culture, to be going out and wearing mehndi when you're 8 because someone's going to tell you that your hand looks bloody or whatever. I feel like we grew up quite ashamed of embarrassed.
But I feel like people monetize that now, like the things that the things that we were like bullied for. Now they're the one that trying to reclaim. They're the one that trying to reclaim it. Yeah.
Wow. Crazy
So
how everything changes though.
Yeah, really quickly as well. So like, what topics in school do you think need to be decolonized?
History. History is narrative. History is a narrative. I think literature as well, because I'm from a literature background. Definitely the books that you read, like you said, it can't just be.
At what level though? Like
I think from the beginning. I think from the beginning,
From the
teach
very beginning.
The whole thing, because
develop
as a child,
children's understanding.
Yeah, like as a child, that's when you soak things up. So from primary school all the way through high school, I think it's absolutely necessary for it all to be decolonized.
Yeah.
Because that's, as a little kid, and also you guys said history and English, and I think even art, because all we learned about was European artists, and they're great, but like, is that all there is? Is that all the art in the world?
True.
And you have to understand as well that like the representation of Britain now is diverse, that you have to include people that are not from the white literary canon. For example, even like we're so proud when an ethnic person wins the Olympics or they win the Great British Bake Off. We can claim that. But what about our curriculum? Why are we not teaching kids that this is part of your community, and let's be proud of it?
I'm going to throw in another subject that I feel like definitely needs to be decolonized, and that's philosophy and religious studies.
Religious studies, I was going to say as well.
Yeah, because so I studied philosophy in A-levels. I don't know how much of philosophy is taught in schools, but it would mainly be Plato, Aristotle, Greek philosophers, Western philosophers. And I think it's really important because philosophy is literally at the center of, I feel, everything, because that's the ideology around politics, around society, around it's literally the basis of the whole society of the UK. And the fact that we are only getting these ideas from Western philosophers is quite, in another sense, supremacist, because it's suggesting that the most idealistic, most intelligent philosophers and ideas came from Europe. And it's dismissing so many other cultures, which I guess does make sense because we are in Europe. However, the fact that I have never learned any other philosophers aside from those of the European Renaissance and Greek philosophers is, in another sense, quite, like I said, supremacist, and I wish I had the opportunity to learn more because I don't know any other philosophers at this point. So it's like, how do you know if these ideologies from Asia or Africa were not so much more just or moral because you never got the chance to explore them? I wanted to ask as well, we're talking a lot about how it affected us as people of colour, people from Asia, but what about those who aren't people of colour, British, English people? How do you think it affects them? And do you think there's any dangers to not decolonising the curriculum in terms of them? Because I think there are quite a lot of dangers in that sense.
One of my modules got cancelled because, so my degree is, a lot of the students are white, and I really wanted to do the post-colonial module, and I was really excited for it. And when I told my friends, let's do this module, they're like, no, I don't want to do it. It makes me sad. And I'm just like,
why does it make you sad?
Like, do it with me.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay.
Well, that's really frustrating.
That's really frustrating.
I think it's important for both of us for
to understand each other,
like for our future children to not have a major identity crisis as much as we did because of our education. And also it will teach these white British children to be more tolerant, because when you learn something at school, if your teacher is telling you something, you think, wow, that is important, that's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
she's telling the truth. If you teach this to children, then we would create a better society. We'd create more tolerant people, more confident people, and just more educated, because we need to know more about the world, not just about this little bubble that we've created called like the British Empire. There's more to the world than that.
There's just so much ignorance as well, isn't there?
But then in art, like
And it breeds
on the
racism.
other hand, white supremacists or white people might say, if we do that, then they're not going to be able to build British patriotism, because they will see the true
I
colours
think
of
we
it.
learn enough about World War II to let us have one module on post-colonialism.
I think so.
Don't you agree?
We can have a mix.
Definitely.
No, but then
After
if
all
you
the other
teach how
ones.
barbaric what was done, that is your history.
I think a little bit of shame is a good thing.
I think it
Yeah.
is. I think it's taking ownership.
It is.
So, wrapping up from that, after we come back from the break, we will be discussing our main topic today, which is social media, especially with Muslim usage of it, I guess we can put it that way. So please do join us after the break. We've just spoken about like the introductory of our show, so join us in a couple of minutes, inshallah, for the main topic. Assalamu alaikum.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to Sisters Speak on on Inspire 105.1 FM. Just before the break, we were discussing the curriculum and the difference between decolonizing and diversifying the curriculum. We had a really interesting discussion, but now we're moving on to our main topic, which is social media in terms of Muslim usage, I guess, or
Or like the Muslim community on social media,
the Muslim
if you
community
like.
on
The
social
presence,
media.
yeah.
That's it. Right. Okay. First things first. Who has social media here?
Everyone.
Right. Okay. Okay. Some
Yeah.
people don't.
Though
But, you know.
she answered it, we do all have.
Twitter counts as social media.
Yes,
I said
it does.
I said I do.
Okay.
As in, like, I never said I don't.
She was about to lie. I was going to allow her, her tweets. And you were all about to follow her.
Everyone who is listening as well, please do join in our discussion. Amina, how can they join in?
You can text or WhatsApp in on 07779 481822. You can call on 01582 481822, and we are on Facebook Live.
Guys, wave.
So it's a video, and you can comment down below.
Yeah, let
tell
us know
us what
your
you
thoughts
think.
and opinions. Please do tell us what you think, because we want to know what you think. So yeah,
That was
anyways.
poetic.
I know, very.
Was
right.
it?
So what forms of social media are there?
Right, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram,
She's doing a rap.
MySpace. No, I'm joking. What else is there? YouTube, I guess.
What's
Yeah.
the most popular right now, would you say?
Twitter.
Instagram.
Twitter, I feel like Twitter and Instagram,
Intertwined.
Side by
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Different uses,
Yeah.
but somewhat the
it's
same.
like two sides of the same coin.
Okay, fair enough.
What about Tumblr? I'm joking.
Are we still on
What
that?
is that?
It's honestly the hipster platform.
It's the hipster platform.
That's for the sad kids.
That's for the sad kids.
Oh, that's really sad.
Guys,
That's really
we have a
sad.
sad child here.
Are you a sad kid?
No, I used to be on it. I used to be
She-
sad.
Oh.
Anyways, right. Would you consider social media to be a very popular thing, and it has to be a must-have thing for everyone and anyone?
It is seen
Yes.
that way.
Is it a must-have?
I
It's
think
seen-
it is.
It's seen that way because I feel like if you have come up to someone and you're like, oh, let me follow you on whatever you're on, and they're like, do you have this? No. Do you have this? No. And then you're thinking, wait, what?
That happens to me actually. That actually happens to me. I'm not gonna even lie.
I know.
That actually
Yeah.
happens to me.
So I think with that attitude, no one's saying you have to have it, but if you're
Should
having
you
that
have
kind
it?
of reaction,
I
then
find people, yeah.
it seems like you need to have it because you
Okay,
look
so-
crazy.
Okay.
I find people who don't have it really weird. Like I knew one girl who didn't have any social media at all, and it was weird. But then I was like, oh, maybe I'm just being judgy. She ended up being a thief. So plot twist there.
Right
Don't trust people without
guys.
social media after a certain age.
Okay, interesting.
Goodness
Next one,
me.
Mariam, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Do you consider it to be a must-have?
I'll tell you the story
Yeah,
later.
I do. I do think you can't survive without. Even professionally, you know, when you go networking events, you ask for LinkedIn. That's a social media.
It is.
So,
Yeah, it is.
okay, now the question is, should you have social media?
I think you should. to some extent you should, because it connects you, and
You said to some extent.
to some extent, yeah.
All right, I'm saying say yes or no.
But you
Oh,
can't.
we need to stop doing that.
Do you know last week
not always yes or no.
we didn't really do yes or no questions.
And we survived, and it was
Okay,
successful.
Well, I'm back now, guys.
Okay.
So yes or no? Should
Well,
you
I'm
have
not
social
answering it if
media?
it's yes or no.
This is a radio show.
Okay,
We'd like
I'm
to
just-
expand.
I'm just gonna say yes because I know she's gonna keep harassing me. So
Right. Okay. Fine. Fine. Yes or no? Should you have social media?
You can't tell anyone to do anything. It's not like a should.
You guys are saying it's a
Should.
must-have, so you
It is.
surely you
Okay.
should have
It's
it
not
then.
like morally you should have it. It's more like you probably should. Like
So you
it,
should
like
have.
for
So that's
life,
a yes.
just to survive. Maybe
To
so.
survive.
To survive in this world,
So yours
I
is
think
a
it's pretty
definitely
important.
yes. All right.
Yes.
Still- Oh, finally she caved in. Right, okay, guys. So now the best thing. What is Muslim, quotation marks around Muslim, social media?
It's
No, go on, Saja.
basically, if you're on social media, especially if you're on Twitter, you're going to be in some kind of sphere of tweets.
Sphere.
You're going to see like certain
Interesting.
amounts of tweets from different communities on
that
social
other
media.
communities won't see.
Yeah, kind of. Unless
or
you
understand.
follow around.
Yeah.
One
Because
at a
you
time,
follow,
guys.
yeah, because you follow like a certain group of people, you will see the certain amount of tweets. And Muslim Twitter is
They
a
really
thing.
go
It's a
at
real
it.
thing, and their
We're
favorite
all a part
topics:
of it though, 'cause we're all
hijab,
Muslims, but you know.
marriage.
Yes, marriage.
Oh my god, top 2.
What else
Halal
is
and
there?
haram,
Yeah,
lollipops.
Women, ladies,
women,
girls,
hijab, and marriage.
females.
Everything has to do with women,
Yeah.
apparently.
And women are involved in all three.
Yeah,
of
everything.
So the main topic for Muslim Twitter is women,
Women.
every week.
and
Women.
marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And ex-Muslims as well.
I've honestly
Yeah,
had to
I've
unfollow
noticed
a
that.
lot of people because I got so sick of seeing the same topics all the time.
So would you all agree that that is the sphere of what
Yes.
Muslim social media is?
Yeah.
Would you? Now I'm just going to do it like we'll go that way. Yeah.
Oh, we forgot fashion as well.
I feel like that's not the main.
Yeah.
I feel like on Instagram
In
that
terms
would
of,
be
like on
in
Twitter, I
Instagram,
haven't
on
seen
yeah.
that.
Twitter. Fashion isn't like a big
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, okay, so I'm talking about
on
Instagram.
Twitter, people are just talking about
Like,
things
it's
back and
literally-
forth all the time.
Because
Even
that
though I'm not even on,
On
Twitter,
Twitter,
I
everyone's
just
on my
know.
Love Island.
So we'll go around that way. So, I literally forgot what I was going to say. Right. Would you consider yourself as a part of Muslim social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
100%.
Yeah. Do you give your input in the topics that are discussed?
And I just watch it all burn down in flames, honestly. I
So you don't participate, as in you don't give your view or opinion, indirectly or directly,
Oh, so like if I'm talking to a friend about it,
or if you're
I don't get involved on social media with that kind of stuff. I just feel like it's unnecessary. A lot of the conversations that go down that we're talking about on
Yeah.
Muslim Twitter, it's what I usually think every time I see it. I would just think, why? Like, where is the solution? Like, you're talking about stuff,
Where's the
but have you?
solution?
Is there an end product?
yeah.
No. So I just think it's all completely useless.
That's a good analogy. I like
Yeah.
that.
Sadia, have you ever participated indirectly or directly, or given your opinion, view, whatever, in Muslim?
You know I do.
Oh, yeah.
You know I do. I've got too many followers to not be doing that stuff. In the least narcissistic way possible.
Gotta put that in
No,
on
for
the
real.
end.
Like, I wish I didn't, but some of the topics are just so irritating. Like, you just have to say something. Like, someone's saying something, and you're just like, I need to quote tweet this and just cuss you right now because it's just necessary.
Interesting perspective.
It's a lot of things are just. It just requires a reaction, and I know everyone's reacting a certain way, and I feel like recently I've calmed down on it because I've just seen the same thing, and it's like you can't keep repeating yourself. But I think I have said my view on practically
Yeah.
everything at this point.
You've given your input.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same, but it's only certain things that trigger me, and I will respond to it. Otherwise,
What kind of things?
I don't know. Especially like I would say like
Like what
male
topics?
male supremacy in culture.
Yeah.
Really, like, when people mix religion and culture, that really fires me up.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like I think as you grow older, you kind of realize that there's going to be no end product, and no one's going to really listen. So and the same people you're trying to educate are the people spewing this out. They're not going to reach it. They're not going to take another person's opinion because they think ultimately they're correct.
Yeah.
So
And they know they're going to get a reaction out of it.
I think
feel
sometimes
like
they actually
a
like
lot of the time
yeah.
people
thrive from
say
that.
people say outrageous things because they know it. They know how outrageous it is. That's why they're saying it.
Yeah.
Do you think that people benefit from the Muslim community on social media? We'll go around again.
I would say yes and no, because it depends who you're following. Because I can say I have myself benefited from some things, but I don't rely on it, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
people just give reminders and stuff, then yeah, I benefit from that because it's nice for everyone to give reminders, but at the same time I don't look at these people who tend to give out these reminders all the time and stuff. I don't rely on them. I don't think, okay, you have my deen is in your hands, you know? I don't see it like that.
Okay.
I think the best thing on Muslim Twitter is Mufti Meng's Twitter. I'm just saying. the man will tweet something and it will relate to your life.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Wait, sorry, what was the question again?
Do you think people benefit from, the Muslim community on social media?
I guess there are benefits, like you said, the reminders and stuff, but I think I've gone past that point where it's like I just see all the reminders now and I've seen them all. And now I just think at this point it's pretty toxic, but I do see a lot of people supporting each other, and that's quite nice.
Yeah.
I think we've gone past a point where a lot of people have had enough of the judgment of Twitter at this point, and a lot of people are just defending each other, just like, let her do what she wants, like especially the whole Dina Tokyo situation. You had like the whole judgy side where everyone was kind of attacking her, and then you had also the other side where people were like, let the girl live, she's done it, it's her life.
Two sides to
It's two sides,
yeah.
so I guess it depends on where you're looking, because there's always going to be the really, really, really toxic part.
So
some people can get support.
Yeah. So it's a yes and no.
Yeah, I agree with Amina as well, that I do benefit from it, but I don't rely on it. And I also, there's something that recently I keep doing is I take some time off social media.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like, I deleted Snapchat months ago. It's like the best freedom ever, because
Really?
well, you just find yourself moving from each app constantly, and I just think that's such a waste of time. And I also think that it does make you value time a little bit more. So I would rather go spend time with my mom, or even just like I just like, even like eating food, you want to use your phone while you're eating, like you don't enjoy food. I
No.
think well,
I
to me,
don't know which people do that. But
I've
you
seen,
should
no,
enjoy your food
especially when you're working, because obviously when you're alone, you kind of want to go through your social media because you don't want to be alone with thoughts. Like, who does that? I'm joking. But
no, it's fine to say it.
no, but I think with me, social media, I think once you've kind of gone through that phase of, for us, I think, because we've experienced social media before the uprise, let's say that in quotation, uprise of the Muslim presence.
Back in Bebo.
The Muslim presence, the Muslim presence coming on social media, we saw it before, and we see the after, so we can kind of distinguish what is toxic, what isn't toxic. But then I really feel for young people that just literally go into social media because that's all they know, and they can't see what's right and wrong, and they can't see what's actually very toxic and what is very away from Islam and what is actually correct.
So are you saying that we should take breaks then?
I definitely think we should. I think it's
from social media.
Take breaks
from
from social
and
media.
Scientifically,
it's like a detox as well.
Yeah, it's scientifically. I watched this video saying that social media has a lot of dopamine. So because there's so much information that we're getting and we do it unconsciously, it stimulates our brain, and it's like a positive feeling, like endorphins are released. Like how when you eat food, when you eat a lot of junk food, like not a lot of junk food, but when you eat or do something good, you get that feeling. So that's why our brain becomes addicted, because we keep looking for that stimulation from our phones. And that's why I think it's really good to take a break from it, because it forces your brain to stimulate in other ways, and your brain doesn't become so accustomed to just the screen.
Sadia, I think do you want to read out the comments?
Fatah Mohammed, welcome to the show. Never heard of you before. She asked, do we think that the obsession around Muslim women's appearance is exacerbated by social media from the Muslim and non-Muslim communities? Absolutely. Anyone else want to make a point? Because I have no rejection to this.
Do we think that the obsession around Muslim women's appearance is exacerbated by social media?
I think especially YouTubers, Muslim influencers, a lot of people are obsessed with what they wear, how they come across,
how a
and
Muslim woman is supposed to look. Is
there is a certain way,
and social media maybe puts an ideal image perhaps. Agree?
I agree, and I feel that people, there's come to some extent that they exploit it. They exploit the fact that there's vulnerable people out there, and they will be misled, and they use these hot topics or hot, what's the word? Just like categories, I guess, to
kind of
like
pinpoint down what's the ideal this, what's the...
Yeah, I just feel so sad for young people because they don't have no idea what they're getting themselves into, and there's no one to help them.
On there
because you can't filter that out. You cannot filter the Muslim community because that's all they've seen. Whereas us, we've had that step back. We can see
there's only one box, isn't there?
I think that's another thing with social media in general as well, that there's no filter, and especially in the Muslim community, like on social media, there is no filter. Some people will say one thing one day, but another day they'll change that view and opinion. And there will always come a time on social media where, for example, a situation will arise, and the outcome of that situation just seems to kind of explode. Like, it just seems to go in so many different directions. You'll have one group of people saying one thing, another group of people saying another thing. And the very common and unfortunate thing is seeing this exposing culture coming onto Muslims on social media. So this whole exposing culture, have you witnessed it? Have you seen it? Been a part of it?
I haven't been a part of it. I'd hope so.
I have seen it.
I've definitely seen it.
I think we've all seen it.
Yeah,
Lives
because I
have
feel
been
like
ruined.
it happens like every other few months. A situation will happen, something will come up, and then someone will get exposed, something will happen to someone else, and then there will be the people who will say one thing in support, and then you have the people who are against.
It's really hypocritical because Islamically, aren't you supposed to be hiding other people's sins and then putting on social media? You don't know how many people that's going to reach.
Do you think that
And
this
that's
exposing
exposing your
culture will continue to exist?
Yes.
With Muslims on social media?
One thing I've noticed is that the actual scholars, they don't engage with exposing culture because they've learnt knowledge and they've had that understanding that you can't do that. There's so much repercussions of doing exposing culture. You're going to be responsible of all these backbiting people are going to do.
Definitely. Amina?
I was going to say, I feel like we're not going to... this whole exposing culture is because the fact that people are on social media, obviously we don't think, some people may not think that, because you're showing us a little part of your life, you have to show us everything. But that's the thing that people don't understand about social media, is that because you're showing a small part of your life, they think that you need to be open about everything that happens now. But at the same time, I feel like with some situations, I don't know, some people, maybe some of our listeners that might be very familiar with some things that have happened. I feel like in the past, some exposing situations have happened, and it seemed completely unnecessary to me. But sometimes certain influences get so involved in people's lives and actually show too much of their lives. I'm not saying it's right for us to interject into their life at all, but when you see them showing their kids, showing so much of their marriage, showing, like, talking about what happens in their life all the time, and not just that, but acting, showing their followers that they are a certain way when they really aren't. I think that's when things are taken a bit far. I think to an outsider this might seem just crazy, like why are you saying all this about this person? But the thing is that when you're actually involved in other people's lives, like your actual followers' lives, getting like properly, not just messaging them on like DMs, you're actually making a difference in their life, and it's turned out to be a bad one. I think that's when this whole exposing thing happened. And I think this it wouldn't be necessary to expose certain people. You don't need to expose people all the time. It's not necessary, but I think sometimes it is necessary because of what impact they've had. Does that make sense?
Islamically, you're supposed to, the only time that is legit to expose is when someone is going to be in harm because of that person. So
to some extent though,
but we can't, like when you know there's going to be physical or there's going to be real harm,
then
I had a point and I didn't make it.
Okay, go on.
sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, it's not because I finished. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. I was saying this wouldn't have to happen if you weren't so out there on social media, so involved in trying to be something that you're not. So like this wouldn't happen if you weren't acting a certain way. I feel like in some situations, you know, you're going to be exposed because you weren't doing the right thing in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think when certain, like I've seen this happen before, like we all have other scandals, if you like. Some people have gotten like a lot of backlash, but they've also got a lot of support, and that shows when that person is, well, all the support they get shows that the person isn't in the wrong. But I feel like sometimes this needs to happen because it's very
Okay.
toxic.
we're talking about a
But now
specific
we're
situation.
talking about
Yeah.
that side, but then what about, let's say, for example, the victims of the exposing? What about the victim culture in Muslim like social media?
What do you mean? So like if
So, for
the
example,
culprit victimizes themselves,
Or they are the actual victim.
if they're the victims, then they have the means to justify themselves, I guess. But I think what's annoying is when they try to act up like they are crying in videos, like they've been so affected by this, when really they've done much more damage to other people.
So it's like
and
being
they're just
caught.
they're just trying to gain some sympathy in that situation.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Do you think we should give them the benefit of the doubt, or do you think we need to continue to hold them into account?
No. Is it like, for example, this exposing culture? Because sometimes, do you think it can do good as well? Because obviously, like you said, if someone's in harm's way, it will warn them.
I think in the recent situation, it has done good in the sense that we shouldn't put all our trust in these people. We shouldn't say, because they're
Is
not
it like-
people of knowledge,
And
right?
when you mean these people, do you mean these influencers?
the influencers.
So the
we
Muslim influence.
As a Muslim community, especially young Muslims, I don't think we should get all our knowledge from these people. Like I said before, it's
Yeah.
nice to read reminders, but something I've realised is that we need to, especially when we're looking for Islamic knowledge, we need to look for things that are authentic.
Yeah.
And just relying on some social media influencer or a social media personality for your Islamic education is not the right way to go about things. And seeing all of this pan out has shown all of us, and especially young people, that we shouldn't be going to these people in the first place. It's fine to follow them and to be entertained by them, but don't be so reliant on whatever they're telling you.
And
because
whatever you see on social media,
They're not
is
Trust
perfect.
anyone on the internet too much.
Yeah, never.
Like, it's a whole different thing. Like, one picture says 1,000 words, and like, for example, what they might show you is not the entire story.
Yeah.
There is so much
I
more
feel
behind
like
it.
people who look too perfect on the internet, you always have to be a little bit suspicious of them. There's no way they're telling you 100% of the story. Like, nobody is that perfect. Like, I really appreciate influencers who show that they're not perfect. They show the other side of the story. Like, I'm having a really hard time right now. I feel like I'm not up to par with what I'm doing. Or like certain YouTubers like Lena Tokyo, we were talking about that last week, how we kind of
I really appreciate that she's very like
open and honest.
she's very transparent. I mean, I know there's a lot of negativity.
It's real,
around.
and
it's very real. And
raw.
she says that I'm not representative. I'm my own journey, and I really appreciate about that because she's being honest with her views, and she knows that she has a lot of Muslim followers. So
Yeah.
And she's not
definitely-
preaching anything.
She's not preaching anything. She doesn't claim to be.
Yeah.
She's not holier than thou.
So, do you think that like Muslim influencers have a really big impact on the Muslim youth?
I think they need to be transparent. They need to show what the reality is, and not that I'm doing a YouTube channel, I have money, I'm perfect, live like me kind of
So
situation.
you do think they have a big
responsibility?
100%.
But at the same time, certain ones, if they are saying I'm not, I'm just living my life, I'm not saying that I'm a perfect Muslim, and we should allow them to live how they are, not say that you are
you
you
responsible.
represent Islam as the entire group at all, and you cannot do any wrong. But those who do say, those who
But
do
then, as a
present themselves
Muslim,
as
aren't you
perfect, I feel like they
representing
do
Islam
need.
anyway?
We always, we all are. But those who have higher platforms have more responsibility. But if you are saying that I'm not perfect,
And that
we
I'm
should
not
acknowledge
here
that.
to-
Yeah.
And these are my flaws. And
So it's for the audience as well to acknowledge the fact that they're being open.
We need to be responsible with
Yeah.
who we trust and what we view.
And also give them a chance, like, no one's perfect as well. I feel like maybe there might be a bit too much reliance on Muslim influencers because they got like perfect, marriage goals or like, hijab
That
goals.
really frustrates me.
Like,
Especially the marriage goals. That's what young girls get brainwashed. It's not reality. And they don't know. They don't know that this is
that's
not...
what they see. And
That's what they
they're
see, and
fall
they
to
just
it.
want everything to become halal, but they don't understand that there's so much responsibility behind marriage, and they don't understand that all of this
so then whose
is
job
performed.
is it to tell them?
I think it's us. We need to educate young people.
Yeah, because we're the ones who use it.
Because
Our
we use
parents
it.
don't use
Our
social
parents
media
don't
as
use
much
it.
as we do.
We're responsible to tell our siblings. It starts at home. We're responsible to tell our siblings that this is not the reality. And we need to, instead of protecting them, we need to give them knowledge and give them tools to understand. Like this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
I need to separate them.
And of course, parents should educate their children on that.
course,
But I
and
feel
parents
like
should-
because
yeah.
they should
They have
still
that,
tell
that
their
lack
children.
of understanding though with social
But I
media.
think, no, I think from the kids' point of view, they'll think, well, you don't use Instagram, so what do you know? Obviously, your parents do know, but I feel like we have a responsibility too to reinforce what parents are telling their
What
children.
about those
we do
who don't
need to
have
tell
siblings?
I think it just needs to be a community effort,
Yeah.
from parents, teachers, everyone.
Yeah,
I think it
Post it
needs
on
to be a
Yeah.
thing.
Instagram. Like,
Just be very wary on social media.
I think even when the children go to Islamic schools and there's like female teachers or male teachers, they should actually
Yeah.
discuss these things, that they're prevalent problems.
Definitely. Of course, I think everyone can here like all agree that social media is not just something that we can talk about within 1 hour. Like it's there's so many different aspects to it. There's so many things that we can discuss. But I think the end point here is when it comes to Muslim Twitter, you need to be wary with what you're reading, how you're being educated, because so many things can be said and spread wrong. So make sure that it's authentic as well, especially when it comes down to Islamic knowledge. But aside from that, thank you everyone for joining us this week. Inshallah, join us next week, Tuesday, 6 to 7 on Inspire 105.1 FM. Thank you so much for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.